Good evening. I'm Uncle Yab, and we're gabbing with Yab. And tonight we have something different. My co-host there, Richard Carrington, is going to be interviewing me. So right now I'm going to give it over to him, and he has some questions he want to ask me. So whenever you're ready, Rich.
Great. Glad to be here today. Glad to always, get time to spend with you and talk about current events and talk about, the issues of the day. And last week we talked a little bit about the new norm. And some of the new norm was, the masks and how they're going to operate schools and restaurants and all that.
Right.
But today I want to talk to you about the new norm in sports, and in particular your home football team, the Washington Redskins.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As you guys all know, that we are going to be changing our names and things like that. And, it's for, they say it's for a good cause, and it could be. So hopefully they'll be changing it up this week. So I'm ready when you're ready, Richard, whatever you want to ask me.
Oh yeah. Well, we over the years, we talked about the Redskins and your love for them. And I'm just wondering, when did that love for the Redskins begin?
Oh, man, that began probably back in the early 80s as far as I can remember.
Okay.
I always have been a big football fan. I love football. I played football a little bit in high school, but wasn't much. But as far as the Redskins, and as far as me being coming from D.C., I'm a big Redskins fan. You can't get me out of it. And, I can talk about Redskins all day long. And like I said, it probably started in the early 80s.
Now, your father, was he a Redskins fan too, or?
Oh, of course. My whole family.
Yeah.
I tell you what, anybody that was from D.C. was a big Redskins fan. My mom, my dad, my sister. Anybody you can find down there in that area was definitely Redskins fans.
Yeah, it's a great team. I'm fond of it. It's one of in my top three. Now, what did you think? Because when I think about the Redskins, the biggest thing that I think about is the quarterback, the African American quarterback that they had,
right.
Doug Williams.
Yep. He was a good quarterback, man. The thing what happened with him, he went to the USFL for a while, and then once the USFL folded, the Redskins bought his rights.
Okay.
So once the Redskins bought him on board and things like that, he had to fight for a job with another quarterback by the name of Jay Schrader.
Okay.
And they went back and forth. And that 87 year was the year we went to the Super Bowl with Doug Williams. And he beat out Jay Schrader for the right to play, and he did pretty good. And, of course, you guys all know we played the Denver Broncos that year and blew them out 42-10. But the thing about that, Doug Williams, he had made history. He was the first African-American quarterback to go to the Super Bowl and win it. Yeah. Plus, he won MVP. He was the guy that went to Disneyland.
Yes.
So you know how they say that, you going to Disneyland. Yeah. So he had a heck of a game, man. Yeah. And he showed his behind off. Yeah. And he did what he needed to do. And that was definitely a good thing for the culture, good thing for the history books, and for him as well, because that was his first time ever going to the Super Bowl, and he definitely played a heck of a game, man.
And, I remember that day. I remember it like it was almost yesterday, because I think all black kids around the country were going for the Skins. I don't care who you were. I bet even Dallas Cowboys fans were going for, the black ones were going for the Skins that year.
Oh yeah. He definitely put the black quarterback on the map. As far as the saying goes that the African American football quarterback wasn't good enough. He definitely squashed all those negatives and turned everything to a positive with going to the Super Bowl and winning it. Yeah. And he definitely was a good athlete as well too. He went to, by the way, Grambling State.
Yeah.
And
the Eddie Robinson he played.
Exactly.
You're right. Eddie Robinson.
You're right. The great Eddie Robinson, man. And that was a good team too back then in his college days. He went from Grambling, like I said, to the USFL, from USFL to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And then Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then he went to the USFL. Then when USFL folded, the Redskins picked up his rights, and the rest was history. All right.
Now, is he your favorite Skins quarterback of all time, or?
Yeah, he's definitely one of them. One of them, because I respected him, how his path went. He went to a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
And as you know, back in that day, in the 70s, like 78, 79, the Buccaneers wasn't too good.
No.
But he took them to a playoff, team. And then after that, I guess he left the team, and then he went to the USL, and that folded. But once the Redskins picked him up, man, he kind of like got rejuvenated.
Yeah.
And he got that spot. He didn't let go.
Yeah. And he had that big line behind him.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
In
The
front
Hogs,
of him.
the Hogs and
I
everything
remember
like that.
him,
A good coaching staff,
Yeah.
and we was able to beat the Broncos that year, and I was happy.
Yeah.
I was happy.
It's a historic organization, and like I said, I think everyone kind of roots for the Skins. You're either a Dallas guy, and if you're not a Dallas guy, you usually root for the Skins.
Right.
And I know, we're talking about this new norm and everything, and I know that I remember it was about 7-8 years ago when they were talking about the name change, and Dan Snyder was like, "No, it's never going to happen.
Right.
I'm sticking with it." He did a survey, and 500 people said they weren't offended by the name.
Right.
But how do you think Dan Snyder has done with the organization?
A lot of
As
people,
the owner, some people may not know that he's the owner.
Right. Dan Snyder is the owner of the Washington Redskins, and he bought that team in '99.
Okay.
It was another guy that had it. His name skips me at this point, but once he bought it from this individual family, he took it over in '99, and we had a hard time. We just trying to just make everything fit and do the things that he wanted to do, and we wound up going to a couple playoffs.
Yeah.
But we never got back to the Super Bowl like we were supposed to. And I'm sorry, that first owner was Jack Kent Cook. He wasn't the first owner, but he was that guy before Dan Snyder.
Okay.
And he passed away, and his family sold it to Dan Snyder. And like I said, a lot of people didn't really like Dan, but I think he all he wanted to do was win.
Yeah.
He was from the area. He was a big Redskin fan. And he was able to get up the money along with a couple other guys, and he bought the franchise.
Yeah.
But once again, a lot of people looked at him as being brash and the type of guy that just want to spend money,
Right.
and really didn't know football.
Right.
And sometimes it did look like that, but in other times I just thought he didn't have all the pieces in place like he wanted to.
Right.
But he brought in a coach by the name of Joe Gibbs.
Yes.
And that's
Gibbs,
when he was
yes.
doing it. But even then, Joe Gibbs, they came back for a second stint.
Right.
And he did okay, but we didn't really get back to where we were at first, like we were back in the 90s. And here we are now with the changing of the name and things like that. And from what I hear, we got 3 front runners of the name.
Okay.
The Washington Warriors,
Okay.
the Red Tails, and the Red Wolves.
Okay.
So I like the Red Wolves.
Okay.
So,
Is the Red Tails, was that a Negro League team or something? Is that where they getting that from?
You know what, Rich? I'm not sure, but I think the Red Tails came from the Tuskegee area, I think.
Okay.
I think that. I'm not
Okay.
sure,
That
so you
might
guys
be
don't
where-
quote me on that.
That might be where it's from.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're favoring the Red Wolves.
Right, I'm favoring that. And hopefully by this week, they'll come up with a definite name. I was told they already retired the Redskins, so now they got to come up with another name.
That was a big thing, man.
Yeah, it
because
was. It
I
was.
know. I remember, seeing clips of him digging in and saying the name will never change.
Oh yeah,
But like you said, and like we've been talking about, it's a new world, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
a new day, and the Black Lives Movement, and people are becoming more aware of everything, and
Right.
and wanting to honor people and not dishonor people. I mean, it's going to get used to you not saying the Skins, though, huh? It's going to take some time.
Oh man, you're right. That's right. And because I've been saying Redskins, hail to the Redskins for years, and it's gonna take some time,
Right.
But hey, I'm gonna conform, and like I said, it's 2020, so hopefully, maybe we get a chance to go to the Super Bowl this year. We'll see.
Well, you got a new coach now.
Right, we got a new coach, Ron Rivera, and he's a Hispanic guy.
Yes.
And he's a real fiery guy. He used to be the coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
And I guess things went south there, but he did take them to a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
And they always had a good defense, so hopefully he can bring that mentality to D.C.
Right, because he played for the Chicago Bears, didn't he, back in the 80s?
Exactly. He was a good linebacker with Chicago Bears, and he did really good. Him and Mike Singletary.
Yes.
They
yes,
did a
I
good team
remember
together
that.
down in Chicago. So
Yeah. And so who was the quarterback? I know there were some issues now with the quarterback where one quarterback was Alex Smith who got hurt, right? Was he there or?
Right. Well, that was last year. Alex
Okay.
Smith got hurt, and
Really bad,
he
right?
set up right. He set up the whole season. He broke his fibula and his tibia in his leg,
Okay.
and it was bad. He got hit real bad, and it was rough as far as the surgeries he had to go through to come back, and he still hasn't came back yet. He had like 17 surgeries, man.
Wow.
And then he had a lot of different setbacks because he was getting infected and stuff like that.
Okay.
But right now he's trying to work his way back, and I don't know what he's going to do for the 2020 season, but you never know. You might see him out there.
Okay. And so there's like is there a quarterback competition? I know, was it Haskins? Is that his name?
Right. He's the young cat that came in from Ohio State last year.
Okay.
And I don't think it's going to be a quarterback competition with him.
Okay.
They pretty much gave him the reins and said,
Okay.
look, young fella, we're going to make sure you ready to go. And I think it's going to be his team and his job to lose,
Yeah.
this 2020 season.
Wow. Seems like the Redskins don't have a problem with black quarterbacks, because I remember a few years back they drafted what's his name, Robert Griffin, right?
Right. And so we have been known to draft black quarterbacks.
Well, it is DC,
Right. Oh yeah. And if you guys don't know, DC was called Chocolate City. So we done a lot. We done good things with that, and everybody thought that RG3 was going to be the savior for us, but
Yeah.
things didn't happen with that. He got hurt, and we just keeping on plugging it in, man.
Was it Kirk Cousins came in afterwards?
Yep. Kirk Cousins came in and he did what he could do. He took us to a few wild card and playoffs, but we just couldn't get over that hump, man.
Right. Now, have you been to many games or?
Well, not since I've been up here in Boston, but I used to go to a lot of games when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I always had a lot of fun because they had their first. They had a stadium called Robert F. Kennedy Stadium,
Yes,
RFK Stadium down in
yes.
D.C.
It's
And
historic,
that stadium,
yeah.
definitely, we right historic. And, they moved that. Well, they didn't move it. They moved out of that stadium. They wanted the big stadium. In D.C., they wanted to give Snyder the money. So he said, you know what, forget it. I'll take my own money and I'll build a stadium somewhere else. So he wound up doing it in Landover, Maryland.
Yes.
And that's what you know now as FedEx Field.
Okay. Yeah, and I know he's been under some pressure because I was reading on line where some of the sponsors are said basically if you don't take the name down, we're not going to sponsor you. I think FedEx was one, and a couple of other like Nike or somebody like that.
Yep, FedEx, Nike, and he had a couple of ethnic backers and stuff like that was backing out of the team because he owned 60%, and he had some other people that owned 20, 30, and so on and so forth. But they wasn't willing to go forward with him unless he changed the name. But you know what, Rich? Getting back to that name thing, the Redskins, they've been around since the 1930s.
Okay.
They started in Boston, and they was originally the Boston Redskins.
Okay.
And they were owned.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they were owned by a guy named Preston Marshall.
Okay.
Now, it was said that Preston Marshall was a bigot and he was a racist.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't know that the Redskins was the last of the teams to segregate with black players and stuff like that. So when they did do it, they drafted a guy, I forget his name. His first name was Ernie. And he didn't want to play for the Redskins because of the bigotry and things like that. So they traded him away to the Cleveland Browns for a guy by the name of Bobby Mitchell.
Yes.
So Bobby Mitchell was the actual first black player for the Redskins.
Okay.
So getting back to that, in the 1930s, Boston Redskins, they were up here playing in Boston. But as you guys know, Boston is a big baseball town.
Yes.
So he didn't really get a good play up here in Boston. Okay. So he said, you know what, I'll just take the team down somewhere else. So he came down to Washington. And the Redskins was the first team that had their own band and mascot that hailed to the Redskins, Hail Victory, Braves on the warpath, fight for old DC. That was the song that they have. I'm not going to go into it, but...
You sound like you remember it well.
I'm getting fired up, Rich. I'm getting fired up. But that was the history with that. And if anybody didn't know, I'm here to tell you guys that's the history on the Redskins and things.
Wow. That's it's a great piece of knowledge, man. I had to put that in my pocket to remember to share with people, because I got a buddy of mine I used to work with that is from that area who he lives up here now.
Oh, okay.
And he's the only one in his office that likes the Redskins. So.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way.
And he's younger than me, so I'm sure I don't think he knew that history, which is really great, man. I really appreciate you sharing with that, man. I mean, I know that you're a diehard fan, true, and you guys will get, the name is sentimental, but if people are saying it's hurtful, and more people are really sincere about that, and the change of the name may bring them some comfort. I think that you don't have to die with the name.
And that's true. That's true. And you're right. A lot of people were saying it maybe is a bad luck thing to keep the name going. That's why we're having bad luck, or whatever.
Right.
But it is what it is. It's all about the players and the right people you bring in there.
Yeah.
And that right nucleus.
Yeah.
So right now the name's going to be changed. We'll find out what that'll be down the line. The next thing you know, after that, just play ball.
Yeah.
Play ball and bring us a championship and make me happy again.
Yeah. They're definitely gonna come back. They will come back. And it's like I said, I've been listening to some of the sports channels, and I seen some of the ex-players who said, I'll never change. It'll always be the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
One lineman who played for like 10 years. But then Darryl Green, which is one of my favorite football players of all time, said that he understood, So it's just, there's resistance and everything right now,
right.
And then so we have to do what we, have to do. And if that's what it is, I think Dan Snyder even realized, that change is here, and, this new norm is just not,
it
Black
ain't going
Lives
away.
Matter.
You're right, Black Lives Matter, and let's change it. But like you and I always say, we're going to change it for the better.
Yes.
And I'm all for, that positive feedback and that positive change in energy. So I'm looking forward to it.
And man, I really appreciate this time you gave, and sharing with that. And I think that people will be blessed with, the knowledge that you dropped, and appreciate your love for your team, So I appreciate you taking out the time to do this with me.
Oh, anytime, Rich, anytime, especially when we're talking football and things like that. That's my passion, and as well as this podcast, this is my passion. And like I said, getting back to you and I really hit it off with this podcast thing. There's going to definitely be many more episodes.
Absolutely.
And we're going to keep this going and keep making it great.
Yes.
And I appreciate you as well.
Yes. All right.
Okay. All right. This is Gab with Yab. This is Uncle Yab, and we're gabbing with Yab. And we've been talking with this history and things like that. I hope you guys liked it. And once again, once you guys Google me and support the show, and drop me a line or drop me an email, let me know how you like the show, and if you guys want to be a part of it. I'm taking all coming for local people and things like that, and we can talk about this pandemic, and just try to make my show great.
Even Cowboys fans?
Maybe not no Cowboy fans, but they may have to pay. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Even Cowboy fans, that'll make it even better. All right, you guys take care. Good night.